talk to and stuff. And it was saying some sounds and stuff.
Welcome to another episode of UEN's PDTV. At Mount Logan Middle School, science teacher Darin Orton has found a way to give his students the individual attention that they need. He and his teammates have developed AI companions designed to focus specifically on their curriculum. Today we'll explore how Darin and his team built these AI companions and how they're transforming the learning experience.
My name is Darin Orton, and I teach 8th grade science at Mount Logan Middle School up here in Logan, Utah, in beautiful Cache Valley. We love it up here. It's kind of a big school. We have about 11 to 1,200 students, and we are a Title I school, and so we have a very diverse population with lots of different needs. And so it keeps things interesting and exciting, never a dull moment here. I'm one of 2.5 other teachers that teach 8th grade science here, and so we have a pretty solid team.
EdTech Competency 3A focuses on personalized learning. Throughout this episode, we'll explore how these AI companions are being used in the classroom and essentially multiplying Darin's presence as the teacher in the room.
So one of the tools we've developed is a kind of an AI companion, and it's available as students are working on their daily work in class. They can click over and chat with an AI assistant. And so this started a year or so ago. Our district tech guy introduced us to this tool that we used, and so we were able to create a unique chat space for our students. The advantage there, being able to create your own, is we were able to tailor it to our specific students' needs. We make a unique space for each unit that we go through, and that space is embedded with the learning targets, the standards, even the assignments and assessments is all part of the chat, and so the students can ask pretty specific questions and get pretty specific help on what they are doing in class that day. And because they are 8th graders, we also included some focus help assistance. If they start asking questions or getting off topic, it does gently redirect them back on track and help them stay focused on science and what we're doing in class. And because we do have a lot of diverse needs among our learners here, we can kind of set the tone and the language to say, hey, these are middle school students, many of them who do read at or below grade level, so tailor your responses to students that would need help and speak and hear and listen and understand at that level. And we didn't just grab a generic chatbot. Okay, we created this specifically for our students, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's been successful so far. We've really liked what we've seen.
So when you implement this in the classroom or make it available to the students, what does that look like in the classroom environment? How are they interacting as they're working on assignments or learning about concepts?
A lot of the work they do is digital. We use a Google Doc to kind of have all the resources and the background information and questions and demonstrate. A lot of that is digital, and so we've included a link in that document, as well as a link in our learning system, Canvas, so they can go that. So they're working on an assignment or they're doing part of an experiment. They can click the link, sign in, and go right into the chat and start asking their questions and getting a response.
So this AI chatbot is then there and available whenever they feel like they could use the extra support. What kind of inspired you to create this? It seems to me that you saw a need if you felt like this would be beneficial for the students.
Yeah, the last several years, I guess since COVID really, our emphasis has been on accessibility. How do we make everything we're doing available to students wherever they are? Whether they're in class, they can work on it. If they're at home, they can work on it. And wherever their students at, can they access our curriculum? Can they get support? Can they get help? And so this was a way to enable them to be able to ask questions and get help at their level, at the things they need, wherever they are at. And it was a way for us to kind of, increase our area of influence in a way. In a class of, we've got 26 to 32 students in a class with lots of different needs, lots of different questions. This is a way for kids, if they're stuck but it's just kind of a simple question. They can do this and get themselves unstuck and help themselves and move forward. And that has allowed us to kind of be available in class to focus on some of the more intense learning needs, coaching some of the behavior needs, some of the more intense gaps in the learning, and has really helped, I feel like helped us be more effective in helping where we really are needed to be helped, and helping students foster some independence in being able to find some answers on their own and get some help and get themselves unstuck. You know, sometimes, unfortunately, some of the kids are kind of used to, I see a problem, I don't know what to do, I stop and I wait for someone to come help me. And we're trying to, at this age, get them over that and say, well, what can you do to help yourself, get yourself unstuck? Here's another tool you can use.
Yes, I definitely noticed your presence still in the room. Lest people think that somehow you're just going to go step off to the side. This is all part of, for one thing, hands-on experiential learning that happens, experiments and demonstrations, we were talking about that, and then also, as you said, that you're still there, you're still going throughout the classroom, but you're almost multiplied with these little AI tutors. I like what you said too about how not just you're multiplied within your own classroom, but all the other places where students find themselves, they continue to have that access to supports that can help them be successful. Well, let's talk a little bit about how you built this.
Okay.
I know you mentioned that you and your team worked on them together, aligned with course standards, utilizing academic vocabulary. For those who are watching who may not even really understand how you go about doing that, tell us, what was your process?
So the tool we used is called School AI, and they allowed us to kind of build it, you know, kind of top to bottom. I use characters. Okay, each unit that we do, each chat space is a fun character. The one we're doing right now, the unit is about energy, and we talked about speed, kinetic energy. So I thought Sonic the Hedgehog. So when they click on the thing, Sonic the Hedgehog is the character that kind of pops up and talks to them. Within School AI, we can upload the state standards. You can upload documents, and so we put our documents in, and then we typed a several paragraph prompt as we're just kind of thinking about how we want it to sound, how we want it to be, and we put, you know, Lexile scores in there. These are the typical Lexile scores. Here's the range we want it to talk about. We put in there, we don't respond in big blocks of text because that's hard for struggling readers. Do bullet points or lists kind of things, visual as much as possible. And so you just kind of have to put yourself on that end and say, you know, imagine kids are asking you these questions. You know, as a teacher, you think about how to respond and what words to use. And so you put that in the prompt and so make sure it's unique and specific and helpful and accessible to the kids that we want to access. And so there was quite a bit that kind of went into that, and it went through a few iterations. You know, we tried it out and adjusted and tried it out, adjusted, and it's a living thing. We're still adjusting as we get new information and collect new data on it. And so, but it's really nice to be able to do that, and the fact that we have it in-house, it's ours. We can go in and edit it. The other thing that's nice about the particular system that we're using is it's safe. It's monitored. I can go on even during class and I can see who's using it. I can see the transcripts. It will give me kind of feedback. It will say, hey, these students are using it this way. These students are doing this. It gives me warnings about inappropriate things or alarming conversation things, and allows me to go follow up. And that was another thing that was really appealing about creating our own and using our own, is that it allows us to teach and educate kids about the use of AI. AI, like the internet before it and like Google, I don't think it's going away, and kids are using it. And so I think the more we can, as educators, step in front of that and say, give kids opportunities to use it productively and effectively and safely, help teach them how to be productive and effective, you know, at the next level in high school and college and as citizens.
So along those lines, what have you learned through this experience about how teachers and students can use AI safely, effectively, and ethically?
I'm not saying that every teacher needs to use this in every class. It worked for us in this specific way. We had a specific need to address the accessibility and the diverse learning needs of our students. I know it wouldn't work in every classroom. I know there's some concerns, with the writing and the plagiarism and things that we don't necessarily address in 8th grade science. And so it fits really well in our situation. AI is not something you'd want to just kind of grab and throw at your students haphazardly. It really requires a lot of thought, having your learning goals and objectives in mind, and creating something of your own for your students, for your situation that would help them. And there's a lot of tools out there. Like I said, we use School AI because our district tech people purchased that for our district, and so it's available to us. And it's been great for us to be able to build spaces for our students to use. And then again, we get the monitoring tools, we get the feedback, we get the transcripts. We are able to see how students are using it and help them use it effectively and safely. And so I definitely, if teachers are looking at AI, make sure it's yours. Make sure it's something that you are in charge of and that you are monitoring and that you are confident with. And otherwise, it might not be the right tool for the job.
Thank you for saying all of that, because there are concerns. But what I'm hearing from you is several different things. That it's a walled garden, that it's safe within School AI. Their information is not getting out to the entire web. I'm also hearing a lot about the human connection that's still there, not only from you designing it specifically with your students and your curriculum in mind, but then also your interaction with the students as they utilize the AI components. And I love what you said about using it as digital citizenship and media literacy teaching moments. It's not your curriculum to talk about plagiarism necessarily, but there are those teaching moments that come about naturally when you're using tools like this and you're taking advantage of those opportunities.
Over the last couple years, students are finding different ways to access AI chatbots and different things. And our district is blocking most of those, because they're not monitored, they're not safe. Kids can ask anything, and we want them to learn how to use the tool, but in a safe, protected, monitored way. And I think if we do that, then they can learn skills and gain confidence in using those skills going forward, and be safe.
How have these AI companions and AI experiences boosted student achievement?
We wanted to make it engaging, and so we did pick fun characters. So when kids open it up, they see something familiar, something they want to talk to and chat with. They know and they're comfortable with clicking on the link and asking questions. And so they are finding ways to help themselves. And that's one thing that have been really fun to watch, is some kids that I know struggle a little bit have found a tool that they're comfortable using in class to do some academic work, and it's great. Another really awesome thing we've seen is with language support. We have a lot of kids that come to us with very low English skills, and it's not just Spanish. We have Arabic and African languages too, and that's challenging to interact with. But with the AI, you can adjust the language. And we've had kids adjust it to their language, and they can turn on the microphone and they can speak and ask their question in their own language, get a response back, get some definitions from some words, and then we can practice saying the words in English, but they have a little bit of background now. And so we've really seen some amazing success with some of our English language learners being able to interact and get some much needed language support, at least in their first few weeks as they get settled and get a little more comfortable. But the AI can certainly help with language support for these language learners. And that's been really awesome to see too.
Yeah, definitely. So you're reaching students where they are. You mentioned their pace, their place, their language, their reading ability. That's personalized learning, and the AI chats are really helping you be able to reach each individual student.
Another thing I'd like to add too is that we've had fun doing this. We've had fun creating these things. We have fun using it in class. We have fun adjusting and talking about as teachers, how can we make it better? And we'd love to reach out and help other teachers that are willing to or wanting to get into this game a little bit. We're more than happy to help get things set up and give you some ideas and help get this moving forward if this is something that you'd like to use in your classroom as well.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of the work you've done, how it's functioning in your classroom, and for your offer to collaborate with other teachers. We really appreciate being in your classroom today.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate you guys coming. It was a fun experience for the kids.
Now that you have seen EdTech Competency 3A in action, consider how you can personalize the learning experience in your classroom as well. UEN provides a variety of professional learning tools that can help you get started, including an AI framework that has resources, lesson plans, and information about the statewide AI tools you can access, as well as professional learning opportunities, trainings, and online courses. Within UEN's AI Toolkit, you can access the Human Framework that can help you think through the best strategies for utilizing AI in an effective, safe, and healthy way. You can also access a variety of AI tools and lesson plans in UEN's eMedia AI Hub. For even more ideas, resources, strategies, and tools to help you implement this competency, be sure to visit uen.org/PDTV and access the teacher toolkit that accompanies this episode. Thanks for watching UEN's PDTV. To access more professional development resources from UEN and to schedule a training, be sure to visit uen.org/development. We'll see you next time.